Today we're going to be giving a quick overview of the Campark v30 4K action camera. This nifty little GoPro-like camera can be had for in between £50 and £100 depending where you buy it from, and let's just see how the quality fares from it. It's very affordable for the price. Let's see if it can give the performance. The highest output on this little camera is 4K 30 frames a second with image stabilization. It also comes with a whole boatload of accessories, from a waterproof case to a whole bunch of mounts that are available to be used. The body of this camera is made out of a solid plastic, and it doesn't feel like it's cheap or flimsy, but it does feel light. When you've got the battery in, it certainly adds a little bit of weight to it, but the camera definitely feels well built. Having a look at some comparisons, it's very close to the Castle V50X, which is in some cases double the price of this camera. The Campark V30 has a 2-inch LCD screen on the back of it, which is also a touchscreen. Use this to access the menu interface. It gives you access to a whole boatload of features, as you can see just from this short demonstration. There's all your video resolutions as well as your frame rates. You can change the formats of the video using different codecs for compression. You can change the different photo modes for the resolution of your pictures. It's got a whole bunch of modes on there as well: slow motion, loop recording, time lapse, burst photos. You can change the options for the built-in gyroscope. The micro SD card on there can be formatted as well. It can take up to 128 gigabytes. They recommend using a U3 card. To test out the camera, I strapped it to my kid's bike and we went off to the park. We used some of the adapters that came in the box. As you can see, the picture quality is 4K 30 frames a second. This is with image stabilization on. I used an incompatible micro SD card, so the footage for non-stabilization has been lost, unfortunately. But as you can see, it does a really good job with the image stabilization. The picture's clear and bright. The one issue I did see, and I don't know if it was because of the case it was in, is sometimes when it caught the sun it was overly bright, and sometimes in kind of darker areas the shadows were really dark. The picture was quite hard to see. But other than that, I felt the camera performed really well, and for the cost of it, I was very impressed. This little camera has a 20 megapixel sensor on there. It's also waterproof up to 40 meters. The image stabilization on there can be turned on and off for all the resolutions, and it's got a wide angle view which is 170 degrees. Now that can be changed, but it will stop the cropping at the edges and the picture will seem a bit more zoomed in. It's got 4K 30 frames a second, and the image stabilization is supported for that resolution. The touchscreen on the back of it. It does have Wi-Fi as well, and an app if you want to connect it to your mobile phone. So this is just a small test of the Campark v30. You want to say hello?
It's fine.
And we don't touch the lens down. And we're currently out at the park. I don't know if it's recorded some of the earlier footage. I thought it was recording, but it looked like the camera was off. So we'll see how the quality is. This should theoretically be 4K 30 frames a second with EIS on, and this is just a small audio test of what the camera sounds like by itself. You want to say anything, Ivy? Now for the trip home. This has just been a short overview of the Campark v30. It's a little trip to the park and a little audio test out of the case. I'll pop it back in. But overall, once we get this on the PC, we'll see how the footage looks and I will judge it from there. So overall, I was quite impressed with the Campark v30. It's a nifty little camera. There's a couple of things I'd like to mention as well. Now the camera itself, nice plastic build. It is a solid little camera. I'm very impressed with the build quality. It seems like quite a durable camera. But I didn't mention as well, you actually get two batteries with it. So you get two 1350 milliamp batteries, and also some of the accessories. They're not the greatest, but not the worst. A lot of things for attaching it to other things, but not the actual mechanism to attach, if you know what I mean. So you get like tripod mounts and so forth, but you don't get a tripod. But one of the things I did want to mention was in the box, at least if you buy it from Amazon anyway, came with one of these. And this is a little voucher thing that says basically leave us a good review and we'll give you either a gift of an Amazon voucher or batteries or tripods and so forth. And I think that's some of the sources of your kind of your good reviews and why there's so many of them, unfortunately. And it's a real shame because I don't think this little camera needs that, because it is such a good camera. Now, it is obviously a budget camera, it's not a GoPro, but it does have a bunch of features that not rival it as such, but it does very similar things. But overall, I was quite impressed with it. The battery life on it lasted about an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours with one battery. The batteries are really, really cheap to pick up if you need to pick up more. You'll probably see some footage from it in some future videos as well. I'd like to try it without the case on just to see if it got rid of that glare from the sun. But overall, I was quite impressed with the little camera. So if you're looking for a cheap action camera, this is not a bad one to go with. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.